Okay, kind of getting away with no pre-lessons. That makes life a little easier for you. And we're just going to look again for the repetitiveness connected to day two's information. So, example one is straightforward. You'll see what I mean. Look at 20 days. So we got 20 days after Matt began a diet, he weighed 185 pounds. So I'm not even reading all this. I'm kind of trained. I know what I'm on the hunt for. This is just saying f of 20 equals 185. 20 days on the diet, he weighed 185. Now look at, after 50 days, so this is a little different piece of information, he weighed 179, so he's doing great, little by little by little. And now here's x1, y1, here's x2, y2. I'm going to find my slope, 179 minus 185. And then I got 50 minus 20. Well, this would just be negative 6 over 30, which is negative 1/5. And if you notice, if you're losing value or losing money or losing weight, your slope's going to be negative. If you're gaining money, gaining weight sort of thing, it's going to be a positive slope. But anyways, so I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to, instead of writing y equals mx plus b, I'm going to start putting things where they belong. Y equals mx plus b. Now it's 185 equals negative 4 plus b. If I add 4 to both sides, I'm going to get 189. Now I've got everything I need. Y equals mx plus b. All right. Now it says how much did he weigh? Now stop right there. Look at the way you set things up. X is number of days. Y is how much he weighs. So it's saying find Y at the beginning of a diet, which means let X equal 0. In other words, he hasn't started dieting yet. So if we put a 0 in there, it'd be Y equals negative 1/5 times 0 plus 189. Well, obviously it's going to be 0 there. So his initial weight was 189 pounds. Okay? Now it says at this rate, when, so it's saying find X, because remember that represents time, number of days on his diet. Will he weigh 175? So this is saying let Y equal 175. So we're going to say, in this formula, we're going to go Y equals mx plus b. We're going to subtract, just solve it like a good old math problem. So we get negative 14 equals negative 1/5 x. I got to multiply that by negative 5, but I got to multiply that by negative 5. So this would give me 70 equals x. So 70 days, he'll weigh 175 pounds. All right, this is the stinker problem of the day. Maybe I'll save this one for last. Okay, but example 3 is kind of a stinker too, but we'll just dive right into example 2. So here we go. Savannah left base camp at 7 a.m. So here's the thing you got to understand. We got this big old mountain, and initially I'm thinking, hey, base camp needs to be at the bottom of the mountain. That's not necessarily true. You might hike a while and call that base camp. So that's kind of the picture of this whole story. But it says, we're just going to put it somewhere randomly. So there's 7 a.m., okay? We're just guessing. And it says to ascend a 7,450 meter peak. All right, so there it is. She gained an altitude at a rate of 260 meters, not miles, that'd be awfully fast, meters per hour. This is your slope. And see, that's what's kind of sneaky. She is getting 260 meters per hour. Remember I said in the previous problem, if you're going up, it's going to be a positive slope. If you're going down, it's going to be a negative slope. That's a sneaky way of giving you the slope. Now watch this. This is the next crucial piece of information. At 11 a.m., she was at the 6,700 meter level. So this is saying, okay, so if I said now, she started at 7, she's been hiking for 11, that's 4 hours of hiking. She was at the 6,700 meter mark. Now, I know in previous problems we've been setting up 2 of these because we're on the hunt for the slope and we're on the hunt for the y-intercept. Here's the thing. We already know what the slope is, and we know a point. So here's my x, here's my y. So I'm going to go y equals mx plus b. And so 6,700 equals, now that's 800 and 240, so that's 1,040 plus b. I got to subtract 1,040. I don't want to make a mistake here. 6,700 minus 1040. That's 5,660 equals b. You know what that means? That's the height of the base camp, 5,660 meters, okay? Because that is how high she was. Well, if I built, I did leave a piece of this out, and I'm already seeing it, but I didn't write it down. The equation would be mx plus b. So, find the elevation of base camp. This is saying the number of hours she's hiking is 0, so we'd put 260 times 0 plus 5,660. And so that'd be y equals 5,660. That's the height of the base camp. So I'm sorry if I confused you. That's where it comes from. Okay? I didn't show that in my lesson. Sorry about that. But now it says, at what time did she reach the summit? Okay, well, this is a different question. If my equation is right here, and I say y equals 260x plus 5,660, it's saying at what time, so in other words, find x, did she reach the summit? Summit means the top. That means let y equal 7,415. So I'm going to go 7,415 equals 260x plus 5,660 minus 5,660 minus 5,660. Don't want to screw this up. 260x equals, let's just subtract, you can do it, 7,1. Double check, isn't that funny? 7,415 minus 5,660. Whoa. 7,415 minus 5,660. There we go, 1,755. I doubted myself, my ability to subtract. Have you ever done that? All right, now I got to divide by 260. And you get 6.75. Now be careful with this answer. That equals x. What's x? Well, x is the number of hours that she's been hiking. Well, if it says at what time, see, if this said how long did it take her to reach the summit, we'd be done. It doesn't say that. It says at what time. Now notice, it says she left base camp at 7 a.m., okay? So we have to look at 7 a.m., and we got to somehow add 6 hours and 45 minutes, because that's what 6.75 hours represents. Well, I know from 7 to 5 hours after 7 is noon, so it's got to be 1 hour, or 1 o'clock, wow, 1:45 p.m. That's exactly 6 hours, 45 minutes past 7 a.m. And there you have it. All right. This backside has its own little curveballs to it. So let's dive right in. It starts out pretty simple. says on a 50-point, on a 50-point true or false test, a student received, and this is unique, and this is a strange way to grade a test, but you get 4 points for each correct answer. For each incorrect answer, you lose 1 point. And for any unanswered questions, you just leave it blank. No points were added or deducted. So there's your 3 possible scenarios. So it says find the best score possible. Well, this is a 50-point true or false test. Well, if you think about it, that means if there's 50 questions and the student gets all of them right, they'd get 4 points per question, so that'd be 50 times 4, which is 200, okay? Now, what's the worst possible score? Well, there's 50 questions, and they get every single one of them wrong. They try them all, and they get every one of them wrong. Dang it, what a bummer of a day. And so they would get -1 point per question, so 50 times -1 would be -50. Now here's where it gets a little interesting. It says find the linear function, which means y equals mx plus b, that converts the raw score described above to a score from 0 to 100. In other words, you guys are used to just getting like a 100-point question. If you get 90 right, you got a 90%. See, that's not what this is doing. It's got a really strange grading technique, and we need to convert it. However, here's what I need to communicate to you. And I'm going to go from the normal 100%. That's the best you can do in a normal grading scenario. That equals this new 100%. You see, 200 points or a score of 200 is the best you can do. So that equals the old score of 100%. And now, a 0 on a good old-fashioned test where you get nothing right is going to correspond to a -50. So now we got x1, y1. We got our good old x2, y2. And we know what to do with it. We're going to build a y equals mx plus b, a linear function. So we're going to find our slope first. Be careful with this. So I'm going to go y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1. And I get 250 over 100. I'm going to reduce that. 50 goes into that 5 times. 50 goes into that 2 times. And so I get 5 halves. So I know I get y equals mx plus b. I still got to find b. I'm going to choose this one. So -50 equals 5 halves x plus b. Look at b equals -50. So here's my 2 pieces of information. I'm running out of space, so I'm going to write it up here. Y equals m x and then b. All right, so there's our linear equation, which is probably going to be useful on this next question. So it says, what score from 0 to 100 corresponds to a test result of 40 correct, 5 incorrect, and 5 omitted? Now you see this formula up here? This formula is going to convert the weird way of scoring into the normal way of scoring. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the point system here, 40 correct. That means 40 times 4. So there's 40 correct. That means 40 times 4, which is 160. 5 incorrect. Well, that's 5 wrong. And that's 5. You got -1 for everything you got wrong. So that's -5. And 5 omitted, that doesn't affect your score at all based on how they grade it. Sorry about that, you guys. I didn't have the paper showing, but, 40 correct. 40 times 4 is 160. 5 wrong. 5 times